Welcome back. We're now going to get into module number 1, which is titled The Core Competencies of Being an Effective Leader. What is leadership? One of my favorite quotes by General Dwight D. Eisenhower, former general in the U.S. military and one of our former presidents of the United States, is the following. Leadership is the art of getting people to do what you want done because they want to do it. He always talked about in the military, the troops are going to follow the actions of the leader. If you talk a lot and say a lot of things, but don't do the actual actions when it comes to the battle or comes to practicing for battle, you're not going to get people to follow your lead. So it's imperative as a leader that people see the actions you do, not the words you say. People are much more visual in our society. So when they see the actions being done, they're going to follow those actions. And when you do that, the brand has a much better chance of achieving overall success. Now, why do you want to be a great leader? There are several different reasons that we're going to talk about in this module. The first one is about driving more results. We are a results-driven based society. Look at football. When coaches win games, win the Lombardi Trophy, they get rewarded with bigger contracts. When people like LeBron James win national championships and NBA titles, they get rewarded. So as a leader, it's imperative that you drive results of the people that work for you and that you are serving. Now, when you drive results, it's not about riding people's back. It's not about yelling, screaming, or being in their face. It's about leading them as a servant leader while being able to service the clients that you guys are serving with the brand. But also it's about being a leader that gets results, but also gets to know his team, his staff, and the entire organization. When people feel that you look at them as an actual person and not just a number, they are more likely to go to war for you. And when they do that, the brand has a much better chance of achieving optimal success. So another great thing about being a great leader is generating more revenue. When you are a great leader and people in the organization see that, feel that, live it, and breathe it, they work harder. They work harder to pursue the overall vision of the brand. When people are working in unison, ambition, drive, and hard work, that brings together what I call the success cycle. When you have a success cycle in any business, you increase that chance of the business being not just creating more revenue, but also creating more profitable revenue. When you are profitable in a business, you can take that profit and reinvest into your brand through either marketing, through social media, whatever you feel can help enhance the entire vision of the brand. So when you are a great leader who cultivates an environment where people are driven by feeling part of that team culture, they are much more likely to go to war for you. When they go to war for you and work hard for you and for the vision, you increase your chances of creating more profitable revenue. Another reason of being a great leader is to develop a respectful and inclusive environment. One of the great quotes by Steve Jobs, former CEO of Apple, said his job as a CEO was to make it where the entire leadership team felt if they had a disagreement that it was a healthy, close, and very sheltered environment where no one would ever be judged or looked at harshly because they felt a certain way. This is why Apple is one of the top 5 businesses on the Fortune 500 list, because they have developed a very strong, inclusive environment. Even though Steve Jobs has been gone for years, God rest his soul, he was very innovative, creative, and an amazing leader. The culture that he created still remains at Apple. Look at companies that have had massive success. Kroger Food Store, Walmart. These are brands where inclusion and healthy dialogue takes a precedent. They truly believe and they live and breathe, and the entire organization has developed this culture. So inclusion is so important as a leader, because if your team members don't feel that they can express themselves without judgment or being looked at differently, you are going to not be successful. Trust me, when I had my construction business, Kayden Premier, that was one of the big problems that I had that led to my demise. One of my C-level executives tried to tell me about our business having trouble. Instead of listening to him and allowing healthy inclusion, I shunned him and I shut him out. The following Monday, he came in and he resigned from my company. 6 months later, I was filing for Chapter 7 bankruptcy and lost everything that I owned in less than 90 days. So please, as a leader, learn from my errors and allow healthy inclusion. Another thing that you can do as a great leader is you can get the respect of your individuals and your team. When people respect you, they look at you in a position where they know that you have their best interest at heart. Respect cannot be bought. Respect has to be earned. It's earned over time. It's earned over trust. It's earned over building a collaborative relationship between you, your team, and the entire organization. When people respect you, they will break their back for you. If they don't respect you and they don't respect your vision, they will never be fully vested in your business, your brand, and or your mission. Another thing that great leadership does, it creates a cultural environment that allows and really believes in diversity. Diversity to me is about bringing people together from different ethnicities, backgrounds, and cultures together to solve a problem. Again, I'm going to reference Steve Jobs. He talked about diversity and inclusion were a huge part of Apple's success. Another company that I've had the pleasure of working for that believes strongly in diversity and inclusion is PNC Bank. I've worked for them at their corporate headquarters in downtown Pittsburgh as a keynote speaker. Their entire staff, organization, everyone that I met in that building believed that diversity and inclusion was huge and a major part of their success. So again, cultural environments, bringing people together from different backgrounds, ethnicities, thought process, really creates a healthy dialogue for your brand. When you have healthy dialogue and healthy inclusion, you put yourself in the best chance to achieve success. Now, let's talk about the 6 core competencies of being a good leader. Number 1, being actively self-aware. When something goes wrong in your business, take accountability. Look at yourself first. I call it the inside to outside theory. Instead of looking at other people to blame or other issues that need to be addressed because you feel someone else did something wrong, look in the mirror. What can you do to solve the problem? Or better yet, what have you done to start solving the problem? It's so imperative. Damon John talks about great leaders always look at themselves first. They tend to figure out what they have done wrong or what they could do better to help the company fix an issue or problem. So again, if you want to be a great leader, be actively self-aware, look at yourself first and other people second. The second part of being a great leader, of having good leadership skills, is building collaborative relationships. Nobody can do everything by themselves. People who try to do that end up missing something. something doesn't get done, you forget to send an email, you forget to make a phone call, you forget to go to a lunch meeting. When you are trying to run a business, a brand, build yourself up, being a one-person team, that's okay. But no matter how you want to look at this, you need to understand, if you're a one-person team, build relationships, meaningful, collaborative relationships with other organizations. Because what happens is you give yourself a chance to succeed by building a village. When you have people around you, I call it your inner circle, that trust you, that respect you, and that will go to war for you, you give yourself the best chance to achieve optimal success. So again, build collaborative relationships. Number 3, drive results. I mentioned earlier, we are a results-driven based society. You are judged by your competitors, by your clients, by your potential clients, by your employees, everybody. What have you achieved with your brand? What is the vision of optimal success for the goals you have created? And how will you be able to drive results to get yourself there? So again, part of being a good leader and having good leadership skills is driving results. The next one, number 4, influence and persuade without authority. This can be tough at times, but you have to understand, when people get yelled at, science shows they're 35% more likely to shut down, and they close their ears off and they don't hear anything when they're being yelled at or talked to in a derogatory way. The best way to lead a team is to influence them and persuade without authority. Don't yell at them. Don't scream at them. Sit down with them. Talk with them. Dialogue with them. Figure out, what are their pain points? What are their concerns? What's holding them back from helping you create a brand or helping the company that you guys work for elevate to a higher level? So it's very critical that when you are leading people, you don't influence and persuade with authority. Don't yell at them. Don't scream at them. Talk with them. You have a much better chance of achieving success when you sit down with people and have healthy dialogue and inclusion. Number 5, communicate effectively. Communication is the backbone of any successful business. When people feel you're talking to them and having dialogue and discussion, it gives them the position that their thoughts, their ideas matter. So communication is something that you as the leader have to be sure is part of the culture. It's got to be prominent, and it's got to be every single day. It's not a every once in a while type of thing. It's an everyday type of thing. So again, communicate effectively. And the last one, number 6, be an ethical leader. People are going to watch you like a hawk when you are their leader. It is what it is. If you don't want that, then don't become a leader. Because I'm telling you right now, people who are followers that are looking for guidance, looking for leadership, looking for mentorship, they are going to watch you like a hawk. So again, it's imperative you are an ethical leader, and everything you do 24/7 represents you and your brand in the most productive, efficient manner. Because if it doesn't, you're going to put yourself in a position where you and the brand are going to be hurt because you broke the trust and did not maintain the ethical leadership position that your brand, your employees are following and or are looking for. Okay? Now, we're going to close this module with talking about something that is very important to me, that if you want to be a great leader, if you want to be the next Damon John, the next Steve Jobs, the next Mark Cuban. If you want to become part of that 1% of society by starting a brand, trying to build a brand, you must at all times show servant leadership. Again, servant leadership. Being a leader does not allow you or give you the right to yell at people, scream at people, get in their face, and overbear them with your power position. That's not what it's all about, being a leader. If that's what you want in a position of being a leader, you are never going to get the respect, trust of your staff. Now, if you want to be a servant leader, look at people like Mother Teresa, Dr. Martin Luther King. These are people who led the masses, but you would never know it because they were so humble. They looked at the position of being a leader as something that they were grateful to possess. They never abused the power that they had. And in reality, they never even thought they had any power. They were trying to serve a higher cause, a higher purpose. They were really trying to make a positive change in our society and leave a legacy where their families and people that saw what they were doing could follow. So again, if you want to build a brand, be successful, be part of that 1%, or even be 1% of the 1%, master servant leadership. Again, Mother Teresa, Dr. Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela. These are people you can go and look at online, Google them, look them up, watch their videos. These are people that I have studied, looked at, and tried to model myself after because their servant leadership literally radiated off their body. So again, this was module number 1, core competencies of being a good leader. We'll see you in module number 2. Talk soon.